Hello there, it's me, earthmanbrick, and today we're going to be making bases. Now, the easiest way to make your Necromunda bases is to use these hole punches. For your 32mm, you can use your 1 1/4 inch hole punch, which is pretty decent. Or you can, for your 25mm, you can use your 1 inch punch. Pretty damn good tools. You can fire these things out rapidly, no problem at all. So that's how to make the actual card base, but if you don't have those tools on hand, and say you've got maybe a larger base like your 40mm one or oval type shapes, then what you can do is you can just like take a pen, much like this, trace around it, and you have a piece of card there, and then the idea is you cut it with the scissors and just go around it. And what you do is you turn the card and cut straight. So I've got some scissors and card here. Let's have a quick go. Doesn't have to be exact, just has to be kind of good enough. So you got something resembling that. And then once you do get plenty of these bits all together, what I like to do is I like to just take 2 pieces of the card, bit of super glue, and you want to use super glue rather than PVA, because the problem with PVA glue is that it might warp because it's a bit of a more absorbent material, your card. There we go. So you get something that's a bit like that. And once you've got your 2 pieces together, you then take your pen and you tidy up the trim. So I'm just using the side of the pen here rather than trying to hit it with the tip. And then just color in all over the top till you get something like this. Why go to all that effort? Well, it makes more sense later. Got some funny looking panels and stuff here. In order to get these kind of textures, your mosquito netting, which is a fiberglass mesh. This is great for fences and all sorts of cool chicanery. So that's a good one for panels, as well as a lot of food packaging has details on it. So, and the idea is to cast this stuff because this is not going to take paint very well at all. So Oyamaru, which is a nice flexible material. It's a thermoplastic. So you fill that with your air drying clay, which is like this stuff here. You got your Hobbycraft or your Das. Das is the more recognized brand, or whatever your own store cheapo version is. It's all very much a muchness. The shallower the mold, the better, because it'll dry faster. You might get some warping or whatever, but it'll take the paint no problem. And then, once you've cast out quite a few, I like to throw them into an old container. And then whenever I've got too much paint left on my brush, I just wipe the excess off on all these until they start to look a bit more like this. So if you're needing to get off as much excess paint as you want for dry brushing or whatever, just use your trashy panels, or like these ones. These kind of ones here, and then you can later use these for making bases with, which the whole process as we go is to ultimately take it in. So just put a little bit of glue there and then just stick on a corner and then just start breaking off the excess. Doesn't matter if you go over, in fact you do want to go over the edge a little bit, and you can see that's why we've applied the black beforehand, because sometimes getting that painted can be a bit of a hassle. And the idea is that you just stick a little bit more on there and add on another corner, but of a different panel. This one here looks good. So again, just break off the excess. You can see our our base is starting to shape up already, adding a little bit of dynamicism. So, in comes the cable ties. Here we go. The gift that keeps on giving. Now, the smaller the cable ties you've got, the better. Because what you can do is you can then glue on your cable tie on top of cable tie until you get something not unlike this. So you just have a strip of cable tie and then at a slight angle glue on as many pieces as you can and then just trim off the excess, sand it down if you need to, but that will give you a nice thing that you can cast for making hazard strips. And like I said, the smaller the better, because look at that beautiful detail. And then it's just a case of painting it up like a bumblebee with black and yellow. It's best to paint the whole thing yellow first. I use this stuff here, which is acrylic ink, because you don't need to do 2, 3, 10 coats of this stuff. It's just one and done. It's very pigment rich. Or you can use something like a Sharpie pen and just go over the whole thing, and then just with either a marker pen you can just go in over the gaps there. See if I've got an unpainted one. There you go. So you can just imagine that's all painted yellow, and then just start doing your every other one. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can have sizable gaps, because then your washes can do the rest of the heavy lifting in that regard until you get something not unlike that. It's good to go over the edges as well with a pen or with inks or whatever medium you prefer to use. And then you can glue that on, no problem. And it adds a nice extra bit of color and detail to your bases. Makes them look a little less plain. So we'll just stick that right there. But if you want to add an extra level of dynamicism, you can also add on old cables and wiring to give it extra color. And you can use stuff like plastic tubing or whatever. I've got various types and kinds here. I've got whole myriad of old plastic straws and things. And you can have it so that you've maybe cut that in half and then have part of the cables coming out. You know, like some of your smaller cables coming out of the larger one. Whatever you want to do, you can go ahead and do it, and adds on a little extra bit of color. Maybe have the wires sticking up and threads coming out. Whatever you want, but it's an extra little trick you can do. I'm just going to stick on some of the rest of the panel bits here. So there's another corner. Take off the excess. There we go. That's a bulk of the base done there. Just add on another little part to the side. But you can get through a lot of these very quickly, and it does help if these parts are all pre-painted as well. So there we go, there's a Necromunda base nearly done. The only other part is just to tidy up these sides, which look a bit messy. What I'm going to do here is just use some of this. Again, acrylic ink. It's a nice burnt sienna. So just a little bit on my brush, and then just go over the edges. Yes, Poppy! What are you doing, daft cat? And then the final trick to doing up these sorts of bases, what I like to do is just finish off with a nice dusting, a white kind of dry brush at the end. So it looks something like this. And it gives it that more kind of industrial look. But that's what I do for my Necromunda bases. I hope this video has been at least a little bit informative and helps you with making your own bases. And just find whatever textures are kicking about to make your own. But that's all I've got for you today, so thanks for watching, and bye!